Hi everyone. So today we're gonna do the unit 19 of the React homework, the employee directory. So this is a simple one. We just need to build a directory, and so it requires to break the UI into some stuff. That's okay. That's normal thing. We're gonna have a random user when the user loads the page. A table employee should render, and then we can sort or we can filter. All right. So let's start with this. So before we start, I built the create React app globally. So instead of using npm, I'm just gonna do create React app. Um, okay, and I think because I installed Yarn, so it's using Yarn instead of npm. When you do this thing, it should show npm instead of Yarn. For some reason, mine's using Yarn instead, but that should be fine. Should be fine. Alright, now we're just gonna wait for it to run. And while we're doing that, we just gonna quickly have a look and see what we need. Okay, so we need a random users, right? And we need to render a table. And the table should be shorted, can be shorted, and can be filtered. Okay. So random user gen there's I remember there's a fake like that there's a random thing like there's a random page that allows you to random everything, which is so cool. Like you can do a random everything. Alright, so for now we're just gonna do this. I'm just gonna do the static one first, and then we can do dynamic layer. But for now it's just static. Can I do more than one? Documentation, learn more. Use a photo documentation. Requires multiple user. Okay, I can do that. 5,000 may be a bit much. I'm gonna do 100. Okay, that's 100 for me. Okay. Alright, yes. So as I said it before, for some reason it using yarn. But this is also working if I'm doing npm, so I'm just gonna go npm. Alright. And while I'm waiting for it to start, I'm just gonna go and open VS Code. Pew 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 pew. We have some C. Right, cool. So this is our page. Alright, so source app.js. Thank you. So this is our file. Alright, so let's start writing this one. That's a yarn.log. I might need to uninstall yarn. Can I quickly check and see why it's running yarn instead? Create React app using npm. Huh, that's an issue. Okay, so there is an option to use yarn instead. Okay, I'm just gonna do that. Alright, quickly I'm gonna delete this. And how many files in it? Looks like a lot. Is that because it open? I close that. Wow, that is a lot. Right. We just have to wait for that. Hopefully it doesn't do 45 seconds. Yep, out. Alright, so create React app. And we can call it week 20 homework. Oh, I want to call it unit 20. I think unit 19 is the, because we work on unit, not week. Right. Alright, cool. Now it's running npm. That's better. Now we just have to wait. While we waiting, let's copy the result. Can it view source? Can I somehow view my source? Does this button work? So I'm gonna get from here, I think somewhere down to the end. Name TFN. Cool. Alright. So up to here. Alright. I wanna get the whole array. Alright, so that is our data. Done yet? Nope, you haven't done. I'm just gonna go open VS Code. What's running? Why is my laptop so slow? So later. What? This thing making it slow? Wow, look at this. Like that thing taking like 40% of my CPU. Ooh. And also that. Alright. Yay, npm. Alright, I'm just gonna paste all of this. Before I forget. Alright, so npm running now. Pew pew pew. Wow, this is really slow. Right, cool. Okay, now let's go to unit 19. npm start. And open this in VS Code. So this is our data. We're gonna put it in, I don't know, I'm gonna put it in public. Alright. Sure. And then we're gonna paste everything in here. It's fine. We're gonna save it. That's our data. Alright. So our app.js. This is currently our app. Now what we need to do is, what do we need? We need, where's my thing? Okay, here we go. I don't need that anymore. Wow, my VS Code is killing it. And for some reason, my antivirus is also killing my computer. Alright, so what do we need? We need a table, right? But to make it cooler, let's make a header. Right, so I create a folder component. I normally make another folder, subfolder inside of component folder, just to clear it out. So I call it header. I'm call my thing header.js. So this is where I write my component. Import React from React. Okay, and then export default function. So I'm just gonna call header, and this one do a very similar job. That is, haven't changed the other one in here. To say employee directory. Alright, and that's it. Just gonna create something else in here. Just something so I have that kind of format. It for some reason, it's not for some reason. VS Code, if there's only one level, like one folder in the underneath component, it's gonna combine them. I don't like it. I just I want to have it separately. Alright, so in app, we are going quickly to, I'm just gonna move this up here. So that, so that. But in here, oh, anyway, I'm gonna remove them anyway. So I'm gonna remove it. I don't need these two. I wanna put in my header. Does it understand my header? There you go. It understands it. Right, so you can do those autocomplete thing. And when you do autocomplete, it's gonna automatically insert this for you. It's VS Code thing, not my thing. Right, so save it. Have a look again. Employee directory, yay. Alright, so for now we don't need any styling, just make sure that it works. Right, so we have header. Then I'm gonna change this into table, and we have a table. Right, import React from. Honestly, it took me like a couple of weeks to always remember to write this at the top. And if you don't have it, it doesn't yell, right? VS Code doesn't realize that it's missing. It doesn't yell or do anything. It just doesn't work. And it took me a while to realize that whenever I do like JSX or JS, I always need that. Like, sorry, React component, React HTML component. I always need that. Default function table. Right, this table now doing a very simple job of having a table. We have t hat. In t hat we have a tr. Yeah. Alright, what do we have in our data? Gender, name. First name and last name would be name. Right. I don't want location, maybe city. City look fine. You know, I'm just gonna reopen the the API. Alright. So name. I don't know. Do I want location? Maybe email. Email look fine. DOB register, maybe phone. and nationally. Where? Foreign and nationality. Alright, cool. So this is our thing. Then we have T body and TR. Alright, in here we're just gonna do a random one first. Alright, and in the app we include a table. Alright, cool. Now let's have a look in. There we go. Look okay-ish. I would want a border in the table if possible. Alright, does it have border here? Okay, no. React table border. How does you do border in just JavaScript? Sorry, HTML. Equal 1. Oh yeah, border equal 1. Okay, so border. There you go. Alright, cool. Got the border. Now let's get the data in. So import data from public data.json. Alright, I need to check because importing JSON into JavaScript require a Webpack configuration, so I need to know whether this is supported in React. Okay, so it's outside. We might need to move it inside just for testing. Alright, does it work? Alright, it worked. Cool. Good. Later on we're gonna do we're gonna convert this into using API. But firstly, just do something simple. We're gonna do it through this one. Okay. So many ways to start doing this. We can using a for loop. We need to use a for loop, but there's many ways to do a for loop. But so do something simple first. Alright, so for loop, our data is an array. Alright, this is a cool thing and also a bad thing about hard reload, which is what you're seeing like whenever you change something and you save and you see it also changed in your browser. That's why it's called hard reload. The cool thing about it is the moment you save it, things change, right? That's cool. The bad thing about it is something like this, right? So you delete the console log because, like, for example, I delete console log because I already got the data. But if I hit save right now, it's gonna reload it, and then I'm gonna lose all the data in here, right? So sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's bad. Personally, I like, especially when I'm changing my style. For example, if I doing some style in here, then I go in, I do some style in T head, T body, like like styling in many places. And if I change it in my JavaScript and I accidentally hit save on one, all my style is gone. Right? So sometimes it's bad, and sometimes I have to like turn off my server, like, sorry, not server, set up my my compiler, my React compiler, just for it to stop reload, you know. So if, like, just keep that in mind whenever you need to use like a console or something in that. Alright, I need to get the data back again. Like working with the hot reload kind of changed the way you work too. So we have an array. So we can do we're gonna do a map. So data dot map, right? And in here we give it a function, and because each of the element in the map in the array is a person, so we're gonna call this person, right? And we're gonna return it because we just gonna return a component. I don't need the curly bracket. I can do immediately something like this. This will work, right? So the round bracket is when you don't do any logic in it. You just, your function is returning a value straight away. You can do a round bracket instead of curly bracket. It's just a short way that ES6 allow you to. Alright, so I need a TR in it. So I'm gonna move a TR into here. Right, because we have 4TD like before, right? So 4TD, first one is name. Our name come from name first and name last, right? So person, I'm just gonna object deconstruct this one. So name in here. We have email. We also want phone and net. Phone and net, right? So name dot, I'm gonna do string interpolation. So name dot first and name dot last. So name first space name dot last. Okay, email we can do, just do email. Same with phone and net. Right, and remember, just okay. So this is working. Right, just that when you do a map or you do, this is an array, right? So in React there is a what does it call? React element or an array of React element, right? So whenever you pass an array of React element like this, so data is an array, map is transformed from one array to another array. So this thing is an array of element. If you do something like this, you have to give it a key. So this is the way that React keep track of who you are, like what element are you in the array. And the key doesn't always need to be an ID, but it's good to be something unique, and it can change over time. It's fine, but it will be best if it changes less, right? So in here, let's have a look and see what we can use. So there's an ID here, right? So I believe you can use a whole object as an ID. So let's check for that. So key, ID here. I'm gonna use ID here. Alright, so yeah, it passed to that. Okay, so we need to use ID.value. Oh, some of them have no. Interesting. Some of them actually have no. Alright, then I'm just gonna use the phone. Hopefully all of them are unique enough. Alright. Alright, cool. So all of them are unique. That's fine. Alright, so here we go. We have all of this. Right, so that's cool. Can we improve this a bit? Personally, I would move this into another component. If I can. It make it easier. So what you can do is, because in this case, I would say the table row only used in this table. So what I will do is I create another folder in here. I'm gonna call it component. So the name is the same, but it's a subcomponent that only be used by the parent. This is my personal preference. You are okay to put it underneath this component, but for myself, my reasoning is this row only being used for this table component, so I put it underneath it, right? Alright, so in here, I'm gonna do the same thing. I have a table row, and I'm gonna have a table row.js. Alright, and save that. I'm gonna move all this into here. Export code function table row. And we're gonna return this. Alright. Alright, cool. And all this come from the props because we're gonna pass the props into here. So in here, each table row represent a person only, right? So we're gonna have props in here. Okay, and we're gonna pass in a person props. Let's do it over here first. Okay, so in here you have a person, and for each person we're gonna do a table row, and we're gonna pass in a person. Alright, and in here we're gonna get the person out. So I'm gonna do const props. Okay, so we're gonna get the person now, and in the person we have name, email, phone, and net. Right, and this one is not required anymore. Reason being, for this element alone, this is a React component, right? To this is a React component, so you don't need to have a key in here. However, we still need a key in this one because to this component, this t-body, sorry, not this t-body, this bit is still an array of components, so we still need a key in here. So we're gonna put a key as we do the person dot phone before. So I'm gonna leave the person dot phone. Actually, let's do without it and see the error. Right, so everything's still fine, but set each child in the list should have a unique key prop. Right, and check the render method of table. So it's the table render method, not the table row. So we need this key person. Sorry, this key in this table method. And there you go. There it's gone. There it's gone. Okay, so what else can we do? You might wondering why I keep changing this, but it's just my preference. So everything on the top is external library. Everything in the middle is the component that I use from other places, and then I have a space like an empty space, and then anything at the bottom is like everything else, right? So again, this is not there's not a strict rules for everyone to follow. It just like do however you see fit. Personally, I have it. I think if it's organized and at least have some meaning to it, I can easily determine wherever I need to change something. Okay, cool. So we got that, right? Now we need a fix, like a short. Let's do a short first. Alright. So how do we do a short? So how does the short look like first? So I would do the short for all of this, like all of them. So we're gonna have some fun with it. So you can short by any of this if you want. The filter I'm gonna do one or two, but the short I think we can do all of them. Alright, so in order to do the short, we're gonna create another subcomponent in here called table header. Right. Import React. Export default. Alright, cool. So we got that. Now this one gonna get a props of a title. All text would be okay. And it's gonna return th with text. Alright, in here, in our table, we gonna replace this with the table header. Okay, and we're gonna have a text. Cool. So we have name here. We have email. Full. And nationality. Alright, everything the same. Right, I just do a split between the table header, just move it somewhere else. This is wrong in name. Table header. Yes, thank you. Table header. Okay, does it work? Table.js. Save that. Might need to destroy it and start again. Oh, there you go. Alright, so why do I want to do this? Because I want to do something called short, right? So gonna have a short, and there are let's see, how do I want to do this? Okay, so first of all, before we do anything, I'm gonna create a function in here. Handle table header click, so we can keep track of which table header is clicking. Right. So this one gonna take in an ID, which will just console log the ID. Alright. In here, we gonna pass. Okay, before we start everything, I start seeing that I have to pass the data around and around. So I'm gonna create the context. So table context.js. Export. I still need to import React. Export cons to context. Create context. Alright, so that's my context. I will need to provide the context here. I'm also gonna export another event context. So this will hold all of my event. Alright, so I have two contexts. So for now, I only need to use event context. Provider. Event context. Right. And I need to give it a value. So keep it there. Cons event context. So this is my object. of contacts. So on table header click to the handle dot, and I'm gonna give it a right. Everything's still simple for now. So now I'm gonna pass the data into this one. Table header. I'm gonna use contacts here. React, use contacts, and I'm gonna get the contacts from table contacts. Right, just quickly want to check what inside this contacts. Undefined. Why is it undefined? Oh wait, no, sorry, not table contacts. Event contacts. So I'm gonna name it contacts because we have more than one. Update for me, thank you. What's this? Event contacts. Contacts. Doesn't look correct. Contacts. Right. And quickly. Okay, we have that. Cool. So now on click will be contacts dot on table header click. Okay, so if I click this, right, it has something. Is it rendering an event? Oh yeah, sorry. When you on click, that giving you an event. So I will have to use the event to get what I need. What's my table? Event. For the target. There you go. Alright, so I'm gonna add data ID as text, and I'm gonna grab this one. Yeah, it doesn't understand data. It has to use props. Prop. That's prop where? Okay, how do I use this in JavaScript? Can I use data? Prop? Property? So how to access property element JavaScript. Sorry, I keep using jQuery, so I totally forget how to do this. It's real data ID. There you go. So you get attribute. Now we should have it. Alright, cool. And we're gonna use a state to keep track of who is being selected. Okay, so cons short by and set short by. Right, we're gonna use state, and by default it's undefined, right? So we can leave it empty. Okay, so in here we're gonna have another context, which is table context, and we have a short by, which is our short by. And we're gonna create another layer, which is table context. Okay, we'll move everything in. Alright, cool. So that's short by. So whenever I want, whenever the header click set short by, we will call set short by and we will give it the ID. Okay. And now that we have the table context, we can tell the header that I want to change this contact into event context, and I'm gonna call a table context. Alright, and now I'm gonna get the short by through the context. Short by, right? So we're gonna get that. So if short by is equal to our text, which mean what? Which mean that we are being shorted. I am gonna do a short, like just to quickly show that we are shorted by that. Alright, so refresh. Oh, sorry, it should refresh. So if I click on here, that's shorted. If I click on here, it's move around. Right, simple. Alright, so we got that. Now we know that it's shorted. For now, I'm just gonna do everything ascending. I'm planning to do descending later on, and also to unshort it. But for now, let's do a simple one and just do everything. If it's shorted by ascending. Alright, so now we know which one is shorted, right? Then we go back to a table and we're gonna update the data to does a short by whatever it's choosing, right? So we're gonna have const data, shorted data. Actually, I'm gonna call it let shorted data equal to data, right? So by default, it's data. If we have a short by, meaning if it's not undefined, which is the case when you first start the application, because when you first start the application, remember that we give it undefined here. So when it first start, short by is undefined, right? So if it's short by, if it has a word, if short by has a value, then we start shorting the data. And for now, we just have to do a lazy way, which is shorted data. So we're gonna do a bunch of if. So if short by, actually let's do a switch. Can I auto complete it? Okay. If short by is, if I already have this, I might not even need that. I want to do a switch regardless. So if this is name is a kind of hard one. I'm going to leave that to the end. So we don't have a default, so that's fine. We can leave a default in there. So name, email, phone, and nationality. Alright, so all of this is similar to all of that. I mean, I can make this into a constant, but for now I'm just gonna leave it like that. So email, if you short by email, then shorted is equal to data.short. So this function short come from an array, like JavaScript array, and if we can return a negative number or 0 or positive. So if it's an email, then if I have an A and a B, it will sort by A dot, I think it's email. So email is a string, so we can do locale compare versus B dot email. Right, so this is compare email to email. If it's a phone, I'm going to do similar thing and nationality. But in phone, I believe it's phone, and in email, it's a net. Cool. So after we got this, then we pass the data into here. So inside of data, we're going to pass the shorted data. Let's save it, run it. Now let's do this. And it's short. We'll do that, and it's short. Should be. Yeah, 0, 1. This is because 0 didn't come to 1. Because it's treating this as a number. Sorry, as a string, not a number. And same with nationality. Right? The only thing we haven't done is the name. Right, so if it's a name, we need to do something else. Just quickly, I want to check something. Okay, my bad. So when you do short, it also changed the original array. So short modify an array, which I don't want that. I want my data to be to always stay the same. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a spread operator to make another new array to kind of clone a data array into a shorted data array. So this way, it will keep my data as the original state, regardless of how I short it. So if I short here, it changes, but if I click on name, it should go back to normal. Does it not? Interesting. Just quickly do the data afterward. So that's a normal. Click on that. And that's the shorted one. When I click on that, okay, it's also shorted. This is not working compared to this. Okay. So you see in here that it actually doesn't it doesn't change. So sorry, it keep the change. Is that because I do the data? Sorry. So if so previously it's fine. The problem is I use the data here. So I'm just gonna change the data to shorted data. And that should work. Yeah, there you go. So data will keep the same. Right. So in React, immutable is a very important thing. Like I believe later on when we learn more about performance and everything, you're gonna start seeing that immutable is a very important thing, and React rely heavily on them to make the application work. Alright, so now we do the name, right? Name. The reason I say it's hard is because we need to combine the data. So it's gonna be similar, but instead of a.email, I might want to do a function here. Right, so const a name equal a dot name dot I think first a dot and then a dot name dot last, and similar but with b. Right, and then I can compare them. A name dot locale compare dot b name. Right, so this is the only reason why I said it's hard. Not hard. It's more complicated than the rest of the case. Alright, so if I short it should be shorted. Cool. Now, what else can we do? What else is asked us to do? It has to do the filter, right? But given that we're doing this so fast, so let's do the other way too. We gonna how do you say ascending and descending? Short order. Okay, we're gonna call it short order. And set short order. And by default, same thing. They are state. They are undefined. Alright, so what's short order? Alright, so in short order, I will need. So now I need to update my header. So, not this one. My table header. So if the short byte is equal to text, that's fine. We start printing something, right? But there's two cases. There is a case where you do an ascending. Sorry, three cases: ascending, descending, and empty. Right? I would say not empty. Empty is not shorted. So ascending and descending. So short. So this is short order. So if short order equal to, I'm gonna do ascending here, then it will say, actually I'm just gonna say the word like that. Oh, let's stop a bit and talk about what the hell is this, right? This is kind of a cool thing that I don't even know about JavaScript, but apparently it does, and React pick up on it and then start using it. So let's talk quickly about what the hell is this and how does it work. So for anyone who's watching this on YouTube, have fun. I'm gonna give you guys 2 seconds to think about whatever the answer that will be shown, and then I will explain why. Alright, so if I have true and I don't know, A, what do you think the answer is? Alright, let's copy that, put it in here. The answer is A, right? What the hell? Now if I start doing false and A, what do you think the answer is? No, the answer is false. Again, what the hell? If I do A and B, what is the answer? Alright, the answer is B, right? So quickly, let's talk about how this works. So this work is I forgot the name of what JavaScript call it, but the way it works is that if you have an expression, right? Sorry, two expressions linked by an and, what JavaScript does is it check the first one, like in this case true or false or A, and it check whether it's true C or like it's not false, right? And if it's not false, then it's gonna return the second value, and if it's false, then it returns false. So this one, because it's true, it returns the second value. This one, because A is true, A is equal to true. Sorry, A is not false, to be correct. A is not false, right? So then it returns the second one. If the first one is false, then it returns the first one. So you can easily see that this is kind of, I don't know, the first time I see this, I would say, what the hell? Like, why does it even design to this? Because this ampersand thing can return anything. It can return Boolean or the value that you put in. Like you can easily see that even though I put in an A, it can return a Boolean instead of a string, right? But that's just how JavaScript works. And React pick up on it and start using it as a way to conditional rendering their work. So if the first one is correct, it returns the second one. If the first one is false, then it returns the false. And React compiler basically pick up on the false and say because it's falsy, you don't need to render it, and it's gonna ignore it. So that's how it works. I know, like we built like when we first started the project, we built a whole component, like an if component, to get around this ampersand thing, like this and logic thing. But if you look into React documentation, you're gonna see that they recommend doing this. And now I kind of like this, so it is kind of crazy, but I guess the more you get used to it, the easier it gets. Alright, so we have short order here. Alright, so now the short order will be the text that display. Now let's go back to our data to handle the click, right? So handle the click. So when you click on something, we gonna check what is the short order. So right, how do I want to do this? First of all, I want to know whether my ID and my short by is the same. I'm gonna handle the not the same case first. If it's not the same, then I'm gonna set the short order by that. If it's the same, then I have a case against short order. So if short order is undefined, can it be undefined? Sorry, if it's not by short order, then we're gonna set short order to ascending, right? So when you first click something, it's ascending. If this is ascending, then set the short order to descending, right? If it's descending, then set short order to undefined. And also we gonna unset the short by. Right, so this is the first case, right? So if you click the first time you click on a short on a column, it's gonna be short by that column ascending. That's if you click on that column again, then the short order by is ascending, then we change it to descending. If it's doing descending, if you click on a column that is currently descending, we're gonna turn up the shorting. Right? Now let's have a look. Have you refreshed yet? Click on that. Ascending. Yeah, we have descending, but we haven't changed the text. And that's normal, right? So ascending, descending, change to that, ascending. Yeah, alright. So now we have ascending, we have descending. Now it's time to update this one. Right, so ascending and descending is... So if you think about it, ascending or descending, it's just a switch to flip whatever we have. So if it's a descending, then we need to flip whatever calculation we did here, right? So I'm gonna have modifier, I guess, short order modifier, and if short order is equal to ascending, then it's equal to 1, else it's minus 1. And we're gonna get this to multiply by all of this. Right. And why are we doing this? So if short modifier is ascending, so it's 1, so everything is stay the same. If we have it as descending, we're gonna have it as -1, meaning everything gonna be flipped. And let's have a look. So we do that, ascending, descending. What the hell is that? Okay, ascending, descending, ascending, descending. There you go. Right? Simple. And if you click again, everything go back to normal. Alright, so that's the whole code. Right, so what else can we do? What we can do next, oh sorry, we haven't done yet. We need to do the filter, right? So the filter will need another component. Do I want to do another component? Do I want to do another component? Sure, why not? Right, so I'm gonna create a search input component. Right, import React from React. Export default function search input. And this one we are let's see how I want to do this. Alright, so let's do symbol first. I want to have input in here, and in my app I will hold a search input here. Alright, and there we go. Alright, so now the question is how to move the search input from this data into that. Right, so there's many ways to do that. But I'm just gonna go with the simple way, and I'm gonna create context in the app. So I'm gonna create an app context. Right, cons export cons app context equal create context. Right, and in the app we're gonna cover it through here. So app context dot provider and we're gonna create a con state. Okay, I'm gonna do context because I need an event here too. Export cons app event context. I'm just gonna call it event context. Alright, so we have search text and set search text. Create context. Alright, now we have app context. Go to should text. And event context equal to set search text. Right, and in here we have app context. That's fine. And we're gonna have another one, which is event context. Different one. Wow, nice. I don't even have any idea what is in it. Alright, so just input. Right, so in here, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use both of them. And we add, sorry, not create context, use context of app context and event context dot use context. Alright, so in here I would say the value we will keep it in app context, so app context dot search text, I believe. Not table, where's the app? Yep, search text. And unchanged, meaning whenever the input is unchanged, we're gonna call event context dot this is not right. I need to do on search input change. We're gonna have an event here, and I'm gonna have a handle. Sorry, this is handle, and this is on search input change will be handle input change. We're gonna do a set search text in here. I'm gonna do event here and set search text equal something. You're gonna start seeing that I cannot type anything. I'm gonna explain later on why I couldn't type anything in the search inbox. You're gonna see. So this one would be equal to on search input. Undefined is not a function. Where is undefined? App 10. Oh, sorry. Create. Sorry, use state. Alright. See, I cannot type anything. Alright. Why can't I type anything? Because whenever I start typing anything, this got pumped in. Sorry, I'm gonna explain this question, this error later on, but for now, let's fix with why can't I type anything. So whenever I type something, right, so the onChange got called, and on search input text that got called, which is this one, this got called, and it set my search text to an empty string, and this means that the search text is now empty string, which update the app context. The app context then got pumped back into this one. Like the search input now got notified from the app context, say, hey, my context changed, update yours. And because of that, this value also got updated to an empty string, making the input to never be able to type anything. Right? So that's why I couldn't type anything. I know it beforehand. I told you guys, right? I did do it wrong. I told you guys it couldn't work. Alright, so next question is, what the hell is this? Alright, if you want to pause and have a look, please do. Else I'm gonna explain what is this one. Alright, so the error in this one is simple to me because I know what it is, not really simple to you guys. So there in React there is, I don't think it's called control. It used to not called control. It's called something else, but I'm gonna use that term. There's two way a component would work. There's a control and uncontrol, right? So what is control? Control is sorry, let's say about uncontrol. Uncontrol is uncontrol is when the parent doesn't tell the component what to do. which is in my case, I'm gonna explain why in my case it's called from uncontrolled to control. So imagine that you have an input that you have none of this. This is what is called uncontrolled because the parent doesn't tell the child or the just input what to do, what to display, everything, right? The input just gonna be a normal input in HTML and gonna show whatever like the browser handle the normal way, right? A control in the other way is when the parent tell the child what to display, right? Remember when I tell you guys about all the step, all the loop that when it go back to parent set the empty string go back to the child got updated with empty string, which now override the default behavior of an input and force the input to show whatever the parent wanted to show. That's what it's called control, right? Because the parent control the child, right? So in React, you can leave something uncontrolled. Honestly, I haven't left anything uncontrolled in my working day. I don't know whether you should leave it, but sometimes leave it uncontrolled is okay. But most of the time, you will have it under control. Like you control what is displaying. You control how it works. Like in my case, I have both of this, right? But then why does it say something like going from uncontrolled to control? So let's have a quick look of when does it actually work. When does this error actually show up, right? So show up normally, nothing here, right? Then now I type something. I know that you guys cannot see me typing something, but I'm typing one letter alone, right? So one letter, right? See how the message comes first before this come up, right? So when this message is going, this message is from here, right? And then the error. So the error is when I actually force it to render empty string. But you were saying that like you force it to have search text being passed to app context being passed into search input. But at the very beginning, you already have a search tag here, right? So at the beginning, you already have it under control. True, but not totally true. Because if we quickly do a console log here and see what inside app context, you can see that search text is being undefined. And when you pass an undefined into a property, React will pick it up and say, oh, are you a defined? If it is undefined, it will ignore it and will not render it out. So when it first render, the way React see it is this. It doesn't have a value because the value at the beginning is undefined. So when I start typing, when I start setting the search text into an empty string, now suddenly it becomes something like this. And to React, this is changing from uncontrolled to control. And that's why it show up an error. Right? So it's a long story, but just the core of it is there's two ways to write a function. Sorry, not a function, a component. Uncontrolled or control. Sometimes one thing works, the other one doesn't. Most of the time, both of them can work, depending on how you want to write it. Suggestion would be never to move from one state to another one, right? Never move from uncontrolled to control or vice versa. And another lesson is if you give a property of a React component an undefined keyword, undefined value, it will be ignored. Right, so how do we fix that error? Easy fix would be, instead of giving it undefined, I'm going to give it empty string. Right, and now it should not yield the error. Right, I still cannot type anything, but it doesn't yield me that error. Alright, so I am gonna get event.current target value, and that should be it. Yeah, so now the value is what the real input in the HTML get, right? Then it got passed into the event got set the state to set search text. The search text got update, app context got update, the search input got update, and then the value got pushed back in, right? You may see that it's a long way around just to just do the same thing. But what we are doing is that we get the value now in the search text, and that's where we want it to be, right? So that whole thing, that whole loop, it just need to get this value into the search text. All right, so we got that in. Now when we got that, we can go back into our table and we can grab it. So I'm gonna get app context from use context. All right, I'm gonna move this down. All right, so we have that, and I'm gonna get the search input out. All right, so for the search input, there is many ways to do it. I'm just gonna do a symbol, and I'm gonna search, filter it based on name, like just name alone, and I want it to be exact match. Case insensitive is fine. All right. So before we do the short, let's do the filter data. Actually, I'm gonna do a let final data to be display data, right? And all the shorter we change to that. All right, so first step is filter, second step is short. Right, so filter. So if we have app context, right? We have search input, right? So if search input is not an empty string, we will do a filter on name. On name only. Alright, because I'm kind of lazy. Alright. So how do we search based on name? Many ways. Let's do regex. So if I have a string, something like this, we can use a test function and then put a regex, and we want to have like DAS, right? A string DAS globally. Oh wait, sorry. Globally match. Just match. I forget how to test. JavaScript test string with regex. Yeah, that's the test method. Oh, regex test. Okay, so we're gonna do the opposite way around. So this dot test, and we put the string in. Alright, so this, if it's true, then we got that. If it's false, then we don't have that. So we're gonna do a filter. So search to be display data will filter out people, right? But I'm gonna go down and dissect it and only get the name. And we're gonna filter out new regex, and its search input in a global scale test the name. So anything that match the name will be in, else it will be this like gone. Dot text. Oh, Why do I keep saying test? Alright. Just gonna do quickly, I'm gonna put that. Does this run? Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Email. Alright. Too lazy now. Email. Email. Alright, doesn't change why it's not doing what I want it to do. Alright, I'm gonna quickly and check what is my search input. Alright, it's giving undefined. No way, search input look wrong. It should be what's map? Search text, yeah, this one correct. Nope, not doing that. Alright. There you go. I need to delete that. Alright, so that's the filter. Alright, you can do filter on anything else you want. I'm just gonna have fun and going with this. Alright, so ascending, descending, working fine. Yay! And that's how it works. Right. So this is the end of it. What can we do to improve this? A bunch of things. So I will not go deep into the transforming this into API. I believe it's quite simple and enough for you guys to do it yourself. So I'm not going to go deep into that. Instead, I want to introduce you a bit more about what to say. Not in many cases. Okay. This is not a good time for me to introduce you guys to that, so I'm gonna ignore that. Instead, I'm gonna show you a tool on Chrome. I think Firefox also have that, but I love Chrome, right? I love Chrome more, which is called React DevTool, right? This is developed by React, and it's quite cool. Honestly, it's cool. It's really cool. So you can find that on Chrome Store. So it looks something like this, right? And what you can do with this is a lot of things. They update this quite regularly too, like the extension. And so what you can do is you can go on here and have a look at, like on this one, there will be component or profiler. Profiler meant to be used for performance. Like at some point your app becomes too big and you want to start like enhancing it, optimize it. This is where you're gonna go. But for now, we're gonna ignore this and go to component. So the component here is it's a tree. It's a React tree to be exact. It's a React tree of what is your app. So this is a tree of HTML, right? So this is the tree that your website understand, but this is not the tree that React understand correctly. Sorry, not the tree that you built, right? The tree that you built look more like this, right? So in the app, you have two context provider, you have a header, you have search input, a table, another two context provider, you have 4 table header, and a bunch of table rows. So this is the component that you built, not the component that compile to. So using this allow you to look into each of them, see what's the props that are being passed into it, see what is the context that have in it and stuff like that, and kind of like it helps you to debug how everything is, right? So that's how it works. Also, this is the cool thing that I learned when I do profiler is right. So highlight update when component render. So you click on this, what it can do is say, have a look at this. Right, see that the color, like that border color thing. So what it mean is that whether your component got re-rendered. And what does it mean by re-render, right? We were talking, remember we were talking about when context update, this got update, when we do on change, we do this function got called, context update, this got update, props update, this got update, right? We said a bunch of those things, but what it actually mean by the end of the day is that when does this function run, correct? Because this function is what make your application change. It changed the looking of your application, it changed the functionality of your application, it changed how what the hell you type in here and how does it work, like all that change, right? And highlighted allow you to determine whether you are doing some unnecessary updates. What do I mean by that? Like, have a look at this. See how whenever I it might not be simple to see, but have a look at the header. See how whenever I type it, the header always keep updating, right? Even though that they don't need to, like they don't even change anything, but they still updating, right? So for now it's simple, but like again, when you have a bigger application, those things can kill the performance very easily, right? For now I'm not gonna go deep into how to fix that. It's just something you might want to look out to, like to make your application to more, I would say to not something to look out to, but something to dive into it and understand more about when does something happen, right? When does the application change? Or just like when you do something, what happens to the rest of your app? Is that like you have a button here that click on something that do a very cool animation? Does it like suddenly update your whole table? Right, something like that would help you to get more confident about um, like about your writing skill, because React is like more or less about performance because React does a lot of rendering and it's your job to control the rendering optimization, right? So just like when you finish it, so turn it on, play around with your app and see like what does it mean, like sorry, see how does it look like. Oh, I haven't tell you what it means to be. So the lighter the better. So when it's starting to get like to this color, it means that it's doing a lot of updates. Doesn't mean it's bad. Sometimes it needs to be that, but again, the lighter the better. Right? Cool. Yeah, and like I said, this app, this tool allows you to get a bunch of data about your props, your, so this is what, in what order does it got rendered from, where does it got rendered from, a key, everything else, right? So this is a tool to help you understand more about your React app. Right, cool. So that's it for today. I think we cover everything. Just quickly look. So random user, table employee, short, filter. Yep, everything fine. Right, I think we're done with that. Cool. Right, any question? Right, cool. If you have anything that you want to ask, just leave a comment down below. I might or might not check. Sorry, I will check for sure. And yeah, just message me on Slack, and I will answer that for you. Cool. Thanks a lot, and bye bye.